going on, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the NBA Slate Starter Podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down Thursday's 5-game NBA DFS slate on DraftKings, FanDuel, and our sponsor, Yahoo. Ryan, I'm not feeling great. I'm not very happy. And because the Sacramento Kings are damn dirty liars, my lineups are doing well, too, at the moment. It's 10:44 Eastern time as we begin this recording a little bit later than we've had here in a while, but gave me plenty of time to see Sacramento just randomly rule back in Jeremy Lamb and Alex Len to screw up all my props for the day, as well as just get me off of some Damian Jones, which is really, really sad. He is like the must-have piece right now, along with Luka Doncic on FanDuel. We'll see kind of how the rest of the board shakes out. But Ryan, how's your night going?
Yeah, I wish we never got news about Alex Len not playing or being active and being able to play. So that's it is what it is. I understand the frustrations everyone has. It probably happens a lot more often than you think it does on NBA DFS. And Damian Jones was due for a good game, and he pulled it off against this Houston Rockets team. So yeah, I had some other plans with the slate, and that's probably not going to work out, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, Kevin Porter Jr. was fantastic. LeVert was fantastic. Luka Doncic was great, and Terry Taylor. Other guys who I was heavily on, but it was some other guys had some awesome games as well. Like you say, a Jaylen Brown putting up 50+ in a game that was very low owned. Even I think targeting Max Strus would have done pretty well for you as well.
I had a little Max Strus, not because I did anything to go get him. It's because he projected out pretty well at Awesemo, doing what you can with the tools. I mean, live before lock on an 11-game slate always is a little wonky because there's too many games and too many spots and too many circumstances to talk about everything. And that's the way that it will always be on an 11-game slate. You should just assume that there's going to be great tournament plays. Find some low-owned pieces in our ownership projections, the Jaylen Browns of the world. You know, even if you wanted to land on some Jason Tatum, it didn't work out. But, you know, he was sub 5% owned in some spots. And it's like, you know, what are you going to say? Jason Tatum can put up 65, 70 fantasy points any given night. So it's just a matter of the way that guys are going to project out. And for the most part, there were some standout performances. I just really didn't land on much Trey Lyles either. It's just one of those slates where it's like you're going to be one or two pieces away from the nuts. Tyus Jones, my highest owned player. Nice to get that one across the finish line. But Kevin Porter Jr., man, what a smash by him as well. Good stuff. Those are about the only good things for me because otherwise I'm just upset. Anything else to add about this slate, Ryan, before we get into the analysis for Thursday?
Yeah, I do think just being able to have any hindsight or like making some strong stands during the late NBA season, you should be willing to also increase your risk tolerance a little bit if you want to be able to work with the volatility presented. But it's late March NBA, early April NBA. I enjoy. I know many people don't, but it's something that I do get excited to play some wonky G League players that I've been keeping an eye on for some time. So yeah, it's something that projections definitely help, but knowing the game, reading some notes on what teams' plans are can definitely help down the stretch, seeing what teams are playing for what, incentives and contracts. These things all matter down the stretch. So I think they're all something that we should be paying attention to.
Yeah, like Reggie Perry just checked into the game. Glad it was tonight and not the other night. That is for sure. But, you know, such is life here for Portland. I will say, Ryan is a guy who just quoted off Real Madrid stats to me regarding Garuba. So there's that. There are guys who are working very hard around the clock to find all that information. I just, you know, I'm such a fish. I just looked at preseason and what he had done in the NBA. How dare I? But I'm glad you looked at the Real Madrid stuff. Good for you. You win the day. He's older now. He's more mature. Now he's a fantasy point per minute player, Ryan. No, that's not true because he just proved that he wasn't today, but it's fine.
Yeah, and he hasn't been
game sample.
Even like in the G League, even in the Summer League, Olympics. I do think people those are a few ways to expose industry models at times.
I'd agree. Or that was your nice way of saying, good job, Eric, playing a ton of a guy at min salary that I don't think is that good of a play who's going to be overowned.
Yeah, it's an 11 game slate. And personally, I mean, if I knew Valanciunas was active and in, do I play more Gruba? I still knew that he wasn't as good of his play as ownership. I know I had a feeling he wouldn't be as good of his play as ownership, but it doesn't matter. It's one game slate. Gruba could go out and put 10 and 10 and pick up steals and blocks, and I look like a fool. So
yeah,
it is what it is.
Oh, I mean, Willie Hernangomez hasn't seen the floor yet, but those are the risks you have to be willing to take from time to time. When a guy would project out in a starting lineup 10x, that would be the best value play on the slate. But either way, what I need you guys to do right now, if you're watching this on YouTube, smash that like button, but especially hit subscribe if you're not a subscriber. We just hit 75,000 subs here at Awesemo today. We did that on the Deeper Dive Live Before Lock stream. Very cool to see. Can't tell you how awesome that is. We appreciate all our subscribers. If you are not yet one, click subscribe here, become one, so that you can see all the content whenever it goes live here at Awesemo. We try to provide the best NBA DFS content, but specifically just DFS content in general on this channel. Click subscribe. You won't be disappointed. Also, we are sponsored by Yahoo. We'll talk about them a little bit later. And also, Twitter Spaces. Shout out to everybody hanging out as we record this podcast live. Ryan and I have been doing that. We took some questions before. We're going to take some questions after. We're hanging out, burning the midnight oil in order to hang out with all of you. Shout out to all of you guys as you're watching, listening along with us, excuse me. Well, because if you're watching, there's a problem because that'd be creepy. But you are definitely listening to us on the Twitter Spaces. And we can't say thank you enough. Hearing our analysis live, hearing Ryan's analysis live goes a long way for us. Ryan, we've got 5 games to talk about. You ready to get into it? My highly tolerant to variance and whatever else you want to say about late slate or like late NBA DFS friend. That's the longest way I've ever explained it.
Yeah, that's right.
There you go. Whatever. You're risk tolerant. That's another way of saying, I can just fire off whatever. Trae Young, 10-9. Hello. We're ready to rock. Kyrie Irving, 10-7 against Milwaukee. I'm looking forward
to this. I'm going to interrupt you.
What's
I don't think... I think you got to have some sort of risk tolerance to play DFS.
Oh, you totally do.
Otherwise,
you have to. You have to look at it as monopoly money in a certain extent.
I don't think so. I don't think that's.
Well, you know what I mean. You got to be willing to say.
No. It's not monopoly money. Are you kidding me? That's
not what I mean. But I mean it in a certain extent. Like you got to think about it as a pinball machine, and what you're trying to do is get the high score.
No. You're just trying to beat the field.
Yeah, you're trying to win money.
Well, pinball machine, you're playing against the machine. You're trying to beat the field.
Yeah, that's what it is. I mean, there's things I can't control. If it goes dead down the middle of the pinball machine, I can't do anything about it. You know what? Why are we on this analogy? I did this to myself, I suppose.
Yeah, you did. But I think we should hop onto the DraftKings side of the site.
Trae Young is 10-9, Kyrie's 10-7, James Harden's 10-2 against Detroit. So looking at this top tier, and Darius Garland's now over 10K. He'll be on a back-to-back. He was awesome again tonight. He continues to play some really good basketball, at least from a fantasy perspective, but I think in real-life capacity as well. But special shout-out to Paul George here, 9,400. Dude returned. Dude was awesome in 31 minutes. I don't think they were anticipating him playing 31 minutes, but the game was competitive. Got down to the end. It's an elbow injury. It's not like he had a torn hamstring that he was coming back from or something like that. They were just like, hey, you feel good? Keep going. And he put up 34-6 there. I don't know if at 9,400 against Chicago, I want to go crazy with it if he's only going to play 31 minutes, considering everybody above him is going to be playing a lot more and project out a lot better. But is there any Paul George interest for you on this slate?
Yeah, I'll have some interest in Paul George. I think Paul George, just with this Clippers team, is 10K player. And even in 30 minutes, he's going to shoot the ball maybe 25 plus times. I mean, why else would anyone want to shoot on the court when Paul George is on the floor? So, yeah, luckily I was shocked to see him with his MVP and captain ownership. It was so low on the showdown.
5% for those who didn't know.
Yeah. And it worked out over there on FanDuel. Not many people played him. I even had a nice chance on DK, but Hartenstein just comes in the last 3 minutes and just dominates.
Oh, who had the sweat last night? That was me in Showdown. I ended up finishing 22nd.
Oh, I finished first on FanDuel.
Oh, F you.
I had to say
wow. What a flex. Twitter Spaces just slap Ryan like Chris Rock in the mouth. Just why? Keep going.
But looking at the guard position over here, spending down in that same game, I do think Io DeSumo is in play at $4,100. And same price, Taylor Horton Tucker. I do think his minutes are going to go up a little bit down the stretch without LeBron and Anthony Davis. But I do think we get a nice bounce back performance from Donovan Mitchell pulling a Chris Webber at $8,800. And potential rookie of the year, dark horse down the stretch, Cade Cunningham, $8,700 versus Philly. Cade should be 9K plus. He pulled off 34 real life points in essentially 3 quarters of play. He missed all of the second quarter last game. I like going to Cade. He might light up James Harden on the other side. James Harden's awesome play also at 10-2. So a ton of options to go to on this slate. And you get a nice Eastern Conference semifinals rematch between Milwaukee and Brooklyn, and the studs are in play. All those 5 studs from both teams. Drew, Middleton, Giannis, Kyrie, and KD look fantastic.
Yeah, that was basically the NBA Finals last year, was Milwaukee and Brooklyn. That Game 7, everybody knows the Kevin Durant 2 centimeters away from ending that one. Guess what? Get smaller feet. That's the answer I have. Whatever. Thanks for my reaction, Ryan. Thanks for the laughs, everybody. Trae Young, 9,900 over on FanDuel. Kyrie's 9,600 there. You've got James Harden, 10-2. He's been eternally 10-2. Play him as shooting guard or small forward. Have your fun. Paul George, 9,700 with shooting guard, small forward. Weird to like somebody more over on DK, but I think I might. That's kind of strange to say. But it's strict shooting guard over on DK. That'll matter. Whereas on FanDuel, pretty positionless for most of these guys outside of Trae Young, 9,900. Cade Cunningham, point guard, shooting guard, 8,200. You've got Donovan Mitchell, 8,100. But Russell Westbrook, let's talk about your boy, 8K. Are you going back to the well on Russ in the absence of LeBron?
Yeah, I'll play Russ again. I have no issues doing so. I have no problem playing Russ again. I think he's awesome to go to at that price tag. I think other spend up guys around him. You do get Harden at that at a guard position as well. I think he's fine to play, but Russ looks fine. I do think Donovan Mitchell, $100 more, looks a little bit better, but I have no issues to go to $8,200. You can play all 3 of those guys, and that's going to force Jrue Holiday to be under-owned. Even at $8,500, he's going to be just an awesome tournament play. Spending down a little bit, I think Tyrese Maxey is now a considerable option at $5,900, but it's just a long shot tournament play. Outside of that, guard is FanDuel's done a really nice job with pricing. I don't have a ton of interest in many guys at the point guard spot. I mean, Seth Curry you can play. I will fire off DeSumo and Taylor Horton Tucker here again. I have no issues to do so on a 4-game slate where it's they don't need to do all that much. You would love mid-20s from one of them, and I think they'll let you fit in the studs because there are a ton of good studs, like in terms of real-life basketball players. You have a slate with Harden, Embiid, Giannis, Durant, Kyrie, and those guys all could potentially put up 50 plus. So you're going to need some value options to fit them in. Up top, 7,500 Middleton and 7,400 Zach LaVine look like solid mid-tier options as well. The mid-tier so far on FanDuel, even DeRozan, it looks very strong.
I would agree. No notes from Ryan in terms of their pricing. I think it looks about appropriate. Alex Caruso, 4,600, you could punt with just because of the steals upside you get from him. I mean, he's had 3, 2, and 2 the last 3. Check out oddshopper.com as well. Best place to go shop for the best lines. They've been just so bullish. See what I did there? On Alex Caruso props, 1.5 on the steals. The over is bad plus money, and it's been smashing the last 3. Continue to smash it as long as there's plus money on the over there. The guy just steals a lot of basketballs. That's just a thing that he does. It's weird to have that be super predictable, but it is for certain guys. He's one of them. Let's head over to guard on Yahoo. We've got James Harden, Trae Young, both $47 there. We'll kind of see positionally because shooting guard, you have Paul George at 42. Probably will go elsewhere there, but you have 42 at Kyrie Irving, 36 Darius Garland. That looks really appealing, as well as Russell Westbrook, 32. That's just nuts to kind of be looking at there. Might have too much interest there, but I got to say, the best play at the guard spot is Karis LeVert. He's sub $20, $18. I don't know how you get away from that. How do you get away from that, Ryan?
Yeah, you don't. I do think you just ride the ownership with that price tag. He looks fantastic to fall on. But it's interesting that you said Karis LeVert at $18 because Karis LeVert's not on the slate tomorrow.
What am I looking at? Am I looking at tomorrow? Yeah. What am I looking at? Cleveland's on the slate tomorrow. What are you talking about? Cleveland's $18, dude. Cleveland at Atlanta tomorrow.
Ooh. I completely removed the game off the slate.
Yeah, thanks for that. Continuing on. Karis LeVert's the best play. You know what else is the best play? Heading over to Yahoo, our sponsor. I'm just going to do the read here and then let Ryan catch up on that one game here. 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. Plug that in. Get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum just by signing up, depositing $10, playing in any paid contest, the lowest rate you're going to find, such as this 5-game slate that has Cleveland and Atlanta on it. So we definitely want to check out that. Only 12% management fee for something like the dollar or the quarter or some of those smaller contests that might only have 20 max over on DK. You could play 135 lineups in the quarter tomorrow. So if you're looking for MME, $100 to first over there, you can play a lot more lineups. You're going to get a lot more bang for your buck with a 12% management fee. Come check out Yahoo. I promise you'll enjoy playing over there. Stop guessing, start winning. Join us at Awesemo, but do it on the best site you can possibly play on. That is Yahoo. Thank you so much to them for their sponsorship of this podcast. Ryan, anything to add at guard from that game?
As I rebuild my sheet, give me a moment.
All righty. Well, I will let you just hang out for a second. What else can I talk about? Hi, Twitter Spaces. I'm pulling up all these great things we have going. Oh, the Trailblazers. How about this? Something named a Didi Lozada, is playing basketball for the Portland Trailblazers. I saw he got picked up this morning, but he played 6 minutes.
He was in the McCollum trade.
Oh, cool. Well, he's playing today out of the middle of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, he's a Brazilian player. He did face a little bit off the court issues a little bit earlier.
I hate that you know that.
What?
That you just know that intricate of stuff. That it's that's common knowledge for you.
I gotta know the intricate stuff. That's how I pay my bills.
All right. Well, top end of DraftKings forward. We'll talk forward over on Yahoo. We'll also add guard. We'll kind of cover our sponsor site a little bit more in depth as we jump over there. But DraftKings forward. Giannis 11-8 against Brooklyn. Yay. Kevin Durant 11-4 against Milwaukee. Less yay, but we know there's a massive ceiling there, no doubt about it. Cade Cunningham, 8,700. I know you'll have interest. I know I'll have interest. DeMar DeRozan down to 8,400. Middleton, 7,800, coming off of a very nice game. 39 minutes, 48.25 fantasy points. They got it done at Philly. Do you think they get it done at Brooklyn tomorrow?
Do they get it done at Brooklyn tomorrow? Yes, I do. I do think Giannis is playing with a chip on his shoulder right now. And I don't mind it. I mean, there are somehow, I believe, underdogs heading into the slate, heading into that game. But yeah, I mean, if you want to spend
that
up,
is silliness. Let's just be serious.
If I'm not mistaken, right?
I think you're right.
Brooklyn is favored by 1.5. Interesting to see that. Maybe because Giannis is currently questionable, if I'm not mistaken. No,
I thought he was probable.
He is probable.
Yeah, no, it's a fully healthy Milwaukee team against Brooklyn. Again, Brooklyn needs to win games. Milwaukee still needs to win games. I mean, this is the healthiest iteration we've had of Brooklyn in a while.
Yeah, so Yeah, I like Giannis a lot, and he's probably going to project as my highest projected like fantasy producer, and makes a ton of sense to go to him. Now, Mart makes Kevin Durant an excellent pivot at $400 less. I think you'll get him at maybe a tenth of the ownership. We saw KD come in there at, I believe, 5% owned, and help people who played him and Luka the other night together to the top of tournaments. But we're still going to be dealing with Boyan. Is Boyan Bogdanovic set to return, or is he still questionable as well?
Still questionable.
Okay, if Bogdanovic is out, you can play Wancho all the way there. Or Kelly Olynyk is another option at the bottom there. It's a 5-game slate where you can definitely fall on one of those guys. We'll see what the Cleveland situation is. I'm not sure what to do with the Moses Brown, a new front court. I think I might just ride with take some chances. I know Kevin Love was awful today, but I think you can definitely play some Love tomorrow, or even a Lowry Market in the forward spot, just taking advantage of the no Mobley there. But I do think, I know we all got burned by Marvin Bagley. He'll make a nice tournament option as well. But keep in mind, his floor is just playing 20 minutes and putting up 20 fantasy points.
Yeah, that's where Kelly Olynyk comes in play, right? We got to look at Kelly Olynyk to a certain extent. Jeremy Grant's out for the entire season here. I think they've kind of established that there's a reason that you can go to Marvin Bagley, but there's also a reason Kelly Olynyk could play 19 minutes, 18 minutes, and put up 26. And it all depends on what the other value looks like on this slate. He's not a guy that I'm like, yay, you should play him at 2% or 3%, but it's a 5-game slate. If there's no other just standout value, those are the kind of guys you have to look at and at least have some consideration. Might as well be a dude who can absolutely go nuts in 19 minutes. So he's one of them. Could legitimately burn you, no doubt about it, but that's why he's a tournament option. Heading over to FanDuel top end, Giannis 11.9. You've got Kevin Durant 10.9. So there's some actual savings to be had there going to Kevin Durant, whereas on DK, I think it's pretty negligible. James Harden 10.2. You can play at the small forward. Him and Paul George talked about them already, but if you don't play Giannis and Kevin Durant, power forward dips to like Tobias Harris, Isaiah Hartenstein, Kevin Love, Marvin Bagley, Isaiah Stewart. I mean, all of those guys, 6,500 and under. I mean, it's going to be very tough for me to get away from paying up for Giannis and Durant in a lot of lineups tomorrow. I'm sure I can play some shooting guard / small forward guys and mix them in at small forward, but power forward specifically does not look like it does on most slates. Who are some of your favorite options to get to at that position specifically, Ryan?
Yeah, so, I mean, it's going to be a tough decision point to look there. One key important situation is Wendy Gabriel is, I think, questionable with an ankle sprain. That'll help some minutes maybe to Carmelo Anthony, Trevor Ariza. But just trying to forecast rotation there. But yeah, it's going to be Kevin Durant, 10.9, and Giannis 11.9. Both these guys have 70-point upside, and they both can get it in the same game. I really like Isaiah Stewart at $5,800 just because of the minutes he's playing. And he's going to be needed for Joel Embiid's matchup. Royce O'Neal is definitely in play at $3,900 just because of salary relief for just to help you jam in those raw point studs to give you that upside. And Royce O'Neal doesn't need to do much. He's going to be on the court for a long time. I think the Bobby Portis experience is come to an end. If there is a matchup they should play him, it's probably against Brooklyn, but Bobby Portis will be in the rotation still, but some games he might just play dozen minutes going forward if Brook Lopez is healthy. So that's something to keep an eye on going forward.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about Brook Lopez at center because played 29 minutes last game. He's still sub 4K. He's going to be one of the most popular players on the DraftKings slate. For FanDuel purposes, a little less so just because you have 4,700 there and then you Embiid on the top end. We'll get there. Not to jump ahead. But as you said, yes, Portis is dust for fantasy purposes. Let's head to Yahoo, our sponsor. Let's talk about guard and forward, my friend. Who sticks out to you pretty much across the board at those two positions here, considering we missed out on guard the first time around for them?
Yeah, I think looking over here, I do like Taylor Horn Tucker a lot at $10. No issues going there. Um, in terms of spending up, I think Harden and Donovan Mitchell look fantastic over at the guard spot. Russell Westbrook definitely in play, but forward options, there is not the strongest in the bottom. I mean, Juancho Hernangomez is still there. I like going to Sadiq Bey, $25. I know it was disappointing last time out, but he's going to play a lot of minutes for this team going forward. So I like Sadiq Bey a decent amount. And forward kind of just sucks over there on Yahoo. I mean, if you can jam in guys like KD and Giannis, sure. But that's not a priority whatsoever.
Yeah, guard, there's some better options. I mean, you're going to see a popular Malik Monk at $19. Talked about Karis LeVert at $18. Both of those guys shooting guards, both under $20, both going to project out phenomenally well for me. Kevin Huerter, depending on if you end up getting DeAndre Hunter playing on this back-to-back, I doubt he does. He looks decent at $16. Lots of shooting guards to play. Point guard, we talked about, that might be one of the spots you landed that mid-range, $32 Russell Westbrook. We've got some cheapies down here, $11 Ayo Dosunmu. I think that's all right to get to. So there's some paths there. Trae Young, of course, has crazy upside. And Darius Garland, $36, my favorite of all of them. All right, let's head to center here and round out the entire thing. Over on DraftKings, Joel Embiid, 11.5. Anthony Davis is doubtful, but it's just nice to see that he's doubtful, even though it might be ridiculous for him to return unless they can actually get in. San Antonio losing that game was gigantic for them. So if they want to try to make a push here, they can maybe get LeBron and Anthony Davis on the weekend. They're not going to get it tomorrow. They're going to be massive dogs in Utah. But Joel Embiid, Vooch, 8,100. Gobert, though, 7,700 against the corpse of Dwight Howard. Wenyen Gabriel is questionable in this spot. So I'm guessing it'll be as much Dwight Howard as you. There's really no excuse for them not to run out Dwight Howard in bulk tomorrow. I think he's going to probably be one of the more popular center plays again. Very excited to see how this all works out. Are you excited? Coming off of 33 minutes and 5 minutes to roster all the Dwight Howard in the land again.
Gotcha. No, that guy fucking pissed me off last game.
There it is.
I mean,
welcome to the tilt zone. Let's go.
That was pretty tilting. I mean, it looked like a great play, and he just didn't play that many minutes. It was really unfortunate. It ruined what could have been an amazing night, I think, unfortunately. But it is what it is. I think I will play some tomorrow if there's no Wenyen Gabriel. As I think about it more, I'll probably play a lot if there's no Wenyen Gabriel. But
that's what I'm saying,
just
man. There's no way around it. You have to.
Sorry?
Who plays center against Rudy Gobert other than they don't have the type of cast the Lakers don't. I mean, Dwight Howard has to play all the minutes in all the land if there's no Wenyen Gabriel.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely going to be on the court for a decent amount of time. They could all go small with Melo for a little bit as well. They've done that in the past, but I mean, Dwight Howard, you would have to go back to him. I know he burned a lot of people, but I will be going back to him. I think going to a Andre Drummond is fine. I think it's pretty good, honestly. Last time he played in Milwaukee, I want to say put up a pretty solid game in that Saturday night national television game. I do think going to Kelly Olynyk is okay to go at center, but spending up top, Joel Embiid trying to just make that final case for MVP as he kind of dropped the ball last game pretty bad at 11.5. I think you can go to him. He's just on that final stretch to show why he's MVP. Tough because Jokic just put on another amazing performance. Sad. I honestly thought Jokic could hit that 90 or 100 fantasy point mark. He had 33 in the first quarter, and he just slowed down. And it was unfortunate because I had a lot of Luka and Jokic lineups together just because I thought the value was there to get those guys in, and it's just not going to work out with those scores. But I think you can definitely play a Vooch at $8,100. But, I mean, Gobert is just going to be on the court. This Utah team coming off an embarrassing loss, so expect them to bounce back.
Clippers were so cool in that second half. I like this.
Oh, that was not cool. I had Utah -3 before the game, so that was pretty.
That's not ideal. Never mind. I apologize.
Yeah,
we've been at odds on a number of things because I bet the Clippers the other night because I just thought. Well, there were some. Did you see some of the tickets of people betting it live? Clippers like +23. They were like +1,500 on the money line, down 20.
1,500 on the money. No, I did not see any of this. Now
it was madness. Go to like Bleacher Report, all those places. Cool times. Let's head over to FanDuel here. Joel Embiid 11.5, Rudy Gobert 7,800, Vooch 7,700. We've got Drummond 7K. That is crazy to look at, but you know what? He deserves it. He's been playing 27, 31, 28. He's been playing high 20s minutes in competitive games, and apparently LaMarcus Aldridge is just out of the rotation. So that's something we've talked about in our group chat. Pretty fascinating to see. Is a 7K Drummond somebody you'll actually click on knowing the other options above him?
Yeah, I'll play some Drummond for sure. I think it's this. I mean, he still has. It's tough for me to be high scoring center on the slate with Embiid there, but let's say if Philly waxes Detroit and Embiid's doing the damage, but I think I would rather be willing to spend 800 more and go to Gobert, but it makes Drummond a fine tournament option. Nothing that appealing. And then Dwight Howard's at the bottom at 4K. He'll just be low on, and that's the upside he'll have. Just being able to put up 15 and 15 for this Brooklyn team against Milwaukee. But the opportunity cost is pretty high with Embiid. But the mid and low tier, Stewart and Dwight Howard are there. Brook Lopez is also 4,700 if you want to fall on him. Brook Lopez has been tough to go to in any sort of confidence. I just don't know what the minutes are with him coming back from this pretty serious back injury. So I know he's been playing more minutes of late, but I'm just proceeding with a little bit of caution. But in terms of value, he looks like a fine option.
All right. And Yahoo, our sponsor site, rounding it all out, $56 there for Joel Embiid. We've got Gobert at 33, Vooch at 32. A little bit further down, though, Andre Drummond is $23, smash. Marvin Bagley, $21, smash. Well, maybe. I don't know anymore. Isaiah Stewart, $19. Similar to last slate, center, the strongest on our sponsor site, Yahoo, by a landslide, actually. Isaiah Hartenstein down there. He closed out the game for the Clippers, $17. He's cheaper than Zubats. There's a lot of guys I want to play at center on Yahoo, our sponsor site. Who are your favorites to round it out, Ryan?
$10 Dwight Howard, $10 Brook Lopez, $10
son of a biscuit. Just play all the centers. It's a 2-center site on Yahoo, folks.
Yeah, I think Joel Embiid and Rudy Gobert look great as well. So, and Vooch, I mean, if the center spot's loaded, it's going to be fun to mix and match. Kind of all these guys are in play, even Isaiah Stewart at 19. I'd rather go to Stewart than a $17 Hartenstein, but Hartenstein's been playing well, and that guy's been resulted me to be very upset in some instances over the last few nights.
That's another dig at me, but that's okay. I love you. Guys, that was a fantastic episode. I always enjoy when Ryan and I can be on opposite ends of things because you know what? He's been on the right side of it more often than not. Listen to him more than me. That's just all I'll say about that. However, I have my takes, and my takes are okay too sometimes. We'll see. Guys, this is a blast. We're heading to Twitter Spaces. Come hang out with us. Take questions from Ryan and myself. Tilt your face off with us. Ask us about DFS. Ask us about tomorrow or game theory or whatever you want. Come hang out with us. If you're listening to us on Spotify, anything else, leave us those 5-star reviews. Really appreciate those. And smash that like button and subscribe button on YouTube. Ryan, any final words for the people?
Yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. If you got burned by the Kings, like many of us did for not playing Damian Jones, let's bounce back.
F the Kings, man. He's Ryan. He's one of the top 15 players in the world. I'm Eric. I'm one of the top 15 players in Twitter Spaces this given moment. We'll see you guys later.